Okay, we are starting live here with 5 generations of what we call E3. That is expert, epic entrepreneurs. Yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with 5 generations, now I know Blab only has 4 seats. Okay, so we have to kind of play musical chairs. But, honestly, I just could not help but bring 5 generations of epic entrepreneurs together. And I have to tell you, I handpicked each one of these people because I know them to be experts, I know them to be epic, and I know them to be great entrepreneurs because they coach, they train, they mentor entrepreneurs. There's a lot of people that are online digital marketers, and nothing wrong with that. That's great. That's a whole nother category, though. But we are what we call educator entrepreneurs. We are not widgets that get sold on the internet, and there's room for all of us. That's what's great. It's not that one's better than the other. It's that it's a both and so let's like increase the space that we're going to take up out there in the online marketing world, but just offer the distinctions for people so that they understand. So our format that we're going to use, we're going to be here today at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be here on Saturday. Okay, I mean, this is the last day of 2015, right? I mean, can you believe it? Oh, my goodness. But 2016 is going to be an epic year, and it's going to be fantastic. And we're going to be here on Saturday, the 2nd, and then on the 4th, we're going to be here because we are actually starting, and these ladies are going to tell you more about it, but we're actually starting a Get Your Biz Lean, okay? Get Your Biz Lean with a 30-day challenge. And if you go on some of those links we have over there, you're going to be able to find out how to get there. We'll cover that in more detail. But what we want to do is have Stephanie take over here and start telling you exactly what we're going to be doing. In the last 15 minutes of our shows, which we will have Motivation Monday, every Monday, the last 15 minutes, somebody gets to get in the Blab seat. Now, can you imagine having a business issue or something that you're blocked on or something you want to get feedback on and having 5 generations of epic entrepreneurs? Now, before I turn it over to Stephanie, I'm just going to go through one thing that I came up with because I think it's kind of interesting. We're all sitting here on the digital front porch, okay? That's what we are. Instead of sitting on my front porch over there, it's a digital front porch. And here's what I find interesting about all these people. I kind of wrote some of these things down. Let me find that sheet right here. But we've got people from not only 5 generations, but we've got people from the states of Ohio, Texas, South Carolina, Washington, Colorado. We've got 3 people who are married with a husband and 1 married with a wife. What's that all about? And 1 single person. So you see, we're diverse. We got it all happening. We've got 2 people with kids and 3 of us with no kids. And even in the midst of all of that, though, what we have, our common thread is that we are epic entrepreneurs. We are committed and passionate about being entrepreneurs ourselves and about helping those who want to be entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur isn't exactly cut out for every single person, I would say. You have to kind of really know that that's who you are, and that you'll do whatever it takes to be an entrepreneur. But anyway, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie, and she's going to have everybody tell a little bit about yourself. Okay, take it away, Stephanie. It's all yours. I'm not saying anything else because I can't hear you all.
All right. Well, thank you for getting us kicked off here. And I am really excited about this because I've finished this morning with my big focus on wrapping up 2015. I, closed out the clients that I needed to close out, signed up the people I needed to sign out. I'm done for the year now. It's 1:00 in the afternoon, my time. I'm done for the year. And then I spent the rest of the time prepping 2016. And this is the first time that I think I've sat down and said, this is going to be an awesome coming year. Everyone's been saying it's going to be an awesome year. And I've kind of been like, oh, yeah. Now I'm looking at what I've got laid out. And I'm like, this is actually going to be an awesome year, which is really exciting because one of the things I've done, this year, 2015, a lot of what I did was on my own. I had my coach, but a lot of what I did was on my own. And this year, 2016, one of the big differences I'm making is that I'm not doing I'm doing hardly anything alone. I'm bringing in people to help me out with getting, my books out this year. I'm publishing more books this year. I'm not going to be doing those ones alone. I'm bringing in a couple of extra coaches for more training and more information. And my new sales system, we've got a partner there. I've got the partner with the Epic. So one of the things I learned was that, as my coach likes to say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think that's kind of the point of these Epic Entrepreneurs. So I know Dottie is going to be kicking us off with the first week there. And isn't it Yasmin who's joining her on the first week to help? You guys remember it is, I will drop off at 12:20 so I can say quick hello.
Hey,
Yasmin.
I will actually say that my audio is working now. And yes, Yasmin.
There we go.
Yasmin and I are doing that first week on Mind Shift. Yes, but you're still the one. Go ahead, because that's why we've got all of us here.
Awesome. So Yasmin's doing the first week on. Yasmin and Dottie are doing the first week on Mind Shifts. Second week, I'll be taking over talking about finances for the year, because finances are probably one of the biggest stressors outside of family, where you don't have enough money to pay everything, to pay the bills, to make what you want to make happen. Lots more marriages have broken apart because of finances than anything else. So I want to talk with you guys. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to portray myself that way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to take your finances to a new level for 2016. And then Cheryl, you're week 3, right?
I am.
Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you and what you're going to do?
I'd talk about communication and relationships, and communication is the breakdown that happens around finances. So, and everything else. So I'm going to talk about some of those things in terms of why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and that communication is as much about listening, if not more. And also really about communication versus a real connection and what that means, because we all communicate, but do we really connect? And then how to have some transparent and really honest conversations, whether it's at your kitchen table or the boardroom table. So going to hit on some of those things so that people can really take their relationships in all aspects to new heights.
What is it that makes you so uniquely qualified to teach everybody this one?
The best teacher in life is life itself. And so mine is coming from a true heart-driven experience that I had really with my own family, and some of the experiences I've had even in the corporate world, as well as association work, and into network marketing and into affiliate marketing, and just a number of areas where I've expanded those things. But the truth is that the rules that apply in communication, and I hate to use the word rules, but those rules worked at my kitchen table, and those same things apply in life. And so as my family went through some challenging times, really challenging, and we found a way to come together and work as a team. And that's really ultimately what it's about, is creating those relationships where we all empower each other and give each other the support, but really knowing how to support that person. So through honest and open listening and communication.
Nice. And then Jen, aren't you taking, you're our newest Epic Entrepreneur, your newest 5th generation. And this is, as you watching, this is the first time, at least I've gotten to meet her. I don't know. Cheryl, no. You met her yet. So Jen, why don't you kind of do an introduction to you for us so we can get to know you a little bit?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to meet you all officially. Yes, my name is Jennifer Ciatoro, and my work has been in marketing for many years. That was my strongest background. And then I shifted into coaching as well. I became a professional coach where I worked at Florida State University actually for 2 years, working with first-year college students. And it was one of the most inspiring times of my life. There's nothing better, I think, than being able to devote your time to empowering others to live their best lives. And from that, I was able to expand and start coaching outside of the university, and just organically started to work with entrepreneurs in particular. And I started to realize I had my own entrepreneurial heart within myself as I was working with these entrepreneurs of achieving their dreams in their business and in life. And so I decided to take the leap of faith myself and went off with some very close individuals and started to develop a video marketing company. And so that was that has been such an adventure to be able to really get into this space that was very outside of my comfort zone, but was very in alignment because of my marketing background too and my coaching background. And so simultaneously have still continued with my work with entrepreneurs and supporting the entrepreneurship movement. And so it's something that I'm very passionate about that actually Dottie and I have really aligned in and are passionate in speaking about is that we believe that the changes that we want to see in the world are going to come from entrepreneurs. And so I'm very, very passionate about supporting people to really step out of their comfort zone into the entrepreneurship world, because it can be very, very scary. I mean, let's just be honest, it's probably one of the most intimidating and intense experiences that somebody can take on, but it also can be one of the most rewarding because you truly get to live from your passion. And so when I met Dottie, we were talking and she was like, wow, you're in your 30s. We need somebody in their 30s and you're extremely passionate about entrepreneurship. This is great. So she was like, we need a bonus week. And so I'm so excited to contribute to this movement with a bonus week for everybody. And what that will be is I've developed a entrepreneurship process model specifically to problem solving. So the biggest thing that I think is important for people to understand when it comes to entrepreneurship is that it's not a sequential line where it's like you do A and then you do B and then you do C and then you get a result. Like, it is very circular, and it's very much about being able to respond to situations. And what I have really found the common denominator between the people who are the most successful and the people who don't actually accomplish what they set out to accomplish is in the ability to problem solve. So when a problem arises, how do we respond to that? And so I'll go through this model of how to be able to understand when a problem arises, the process that you can actually go through to support yourself in finding the solution and then implementing that solution.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that one. I hadn't heard what you were going to be talking about, but that is awesome. Right? Sorry, Yasmin saying that sounds amazing. I'm kind of agreeing.
Yay. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm excited for it.
She's no longer the mystery. We no longer have a mystery one.
Right? Okay, so we've got our 5 weeks, and I know Yasmin. When was the plan for Yasmin to hop on here at some point?
We just kind of wanted to introduce her. Let me see if she's still on.
She's here.
Let me see if I can get. If I take myself off, Carol, let me put you off.
I can jump off like we talked about. Let her come on, because if you jump off, I'm afraid we're going to have the same problem we did last time.
Oh. Yeah, I tell you what, Cheryl, I'm going to X you out and see if she can. Let me see if she's there real quick, because I think she only has limited time. Looks like she's there. Okay, so Cheryl, I'm going to X you out and bring her on real quick, and then we'll bring you back on. Okay. Pick this person. Okay. I kicked her off. Oh, what?
You're out, Cheryl.
There's Yasmin. So now we'll be able to get her in. So go ahead, Stephanie. Bring Yasmin and talk to her a second here.
Okay. Well, it's still giving me the little egg. She's coming in. She's coming.
Yeah,
she's coming.
she's like,
I will need therapy. It's okay, Cheryl. I think we all might need therapy at this point.
Yeah.
I don't remember who I was
part of being
about that one
entrepreneurial, huh? It's the problem solving, Jen. There she is. Go ahead.
There I am. I'm so excited, you guys. Oh, I'm sitting here listening to each of you, and Jen, it's so nice to meet you. I've heard amazing things about you, and we're all coaches, and I love to hear each of our expertise. And you know what's so great about this? We're all teachers, but I feel like we're all students too. Like, I'm going to learn from each and every one of you, and I'm so excited. I'm going to have my own epic entrepreneur notebook and participate in your guys' weeks, just like, you know what I mean? Just like our participants are, our viewers, our audience. So I'm so excited, and I'm so happy to be leading with Dottie for our mindset and kicking off the week. And I myself, just to share a little bit about me, is I've been 15 years in the personal and professional development world. I'm a graduate of Accomplishment Coaching, which is a year-long rigorous coach training program that's all about like mindset and really aligning to where you want to go and where you are now, helping entrepreneurs, like you said, Jen, get past their comfort zone. It is a very, very, very scary thing. I was in corporate America for 13 years, and I left to start my own business as a coach and professional speaker, trainer, and consultant. So it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And to have this level of support that we're offering is awesome. And I found at that time my own version of this, but what's so cool is with modern technology now that we could just be sitting in the comfort of our own home. I flew all over the country to get this. I was on planes and trains and automobiles, and hotel rooms. So this is so exciting to be able to deliver it Oprah style, if you will, or The View, our version of The View, as Dottie and I were talking about. So I'm so excited, to learn from you guys and to learn also from our participants, because we're going to have the audience members we call it a hot seat, but it's not. It's not a hot seat, but it kind of is. Like, we want to give you the coaching that you may need, and you can volunteer for that. And so we'll go more into that. So it's just a phenomenal way. And I want to thank you, Dottie, for bringing these worlds together of live events, but online. And it's a new frontier. So I'm totally excited to be a part of this. And it's just such an honor and privilege to be among such amazing, powerful, extraordinary women to share their wisdom. So that's it really for me. And I want to wish everybody a Happy New Year as well. And this is a great start, kicking off the year strong.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for jumping on, Yasmin. I know that you had a limited time today, and that's what's so great. We've got 4, 6. Oh my gosh, I got to go bring Riley Joy.
He's trying really hard to join in up there. So.
Is it
Neil?
Is he a Shih Tzu?
He's a Shorkie, so he's a Shih Tzu Yorkshire Terrier cross.
Oh my God, I have a Shih Tzu. A Shih Tzu poodle.
Shih Tzu poodle. Yeah, they're the Yorkshire in him is very yappy.
Yeah, mine too.
Don't look at my house wrong. He will scream at you. It's
oh my God.
Well, I'm sure you'll hear my poodles at some point. But I'm going to jump off because I do have other engagements. But I really wanted to say hello, Jen. It's so nice to meet you.
So wonderful to meet you.
I'm so excited. Thank you all for being on. Mwah, mwah. Bye. Have a great and safe New Year, everyone. Bye.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
All righty. Sure.
all right.
Come on down. Oh, there's.
So while Cheryl's coming back in, just for those of you wondering, yeah, everything we're doing here is free. We're not charging you guys for this Get Your Biz Lean in 2016. It's a 30-day, well, now I guess technically 37-day, 37-day prep your year. Because how many of you guys have ever heard that, how you start is how you'll finish? Mm-hmm. So how you start 2016 is how you're going to finish the year. And let me ask you this. I just saw someone on my Facebook profile, and I should say more often than not, how you start is how you'll finish, because it came across my little Facebook feed and she goes, oh my gosh, guys, 2015 was just terrible. Like it started with my bank accounts getting hacked. Like it doesn't get much worse than that. And she talks about how, she transformed throughout the year, and it's a really great, inspiring story. But what I want to do is point out, guys, if she could have, started from a different place, her entire year would have looked different. And that's what we want to do for you guys. It's hard enough to be an entrepreneur. It's hard enough to run a family. It's hard enough to get through life on your own. It's hard enough to get through life. Why do it on your own? Mm-hmm. And we're not looking to charge you. Now, I'm sure each of us has a course or coaching or something, but that's not what the point of this is. And we're not going to be sitting here inside of each of our sessions saying, well, here's a little teaser, but this is why you need to sign up with my program. That's not the purpose. We're not doing this to close you guys into deals. We want to help you guys. We all genuinely, passionately care about helping you make your year what you want it to be. And that's why we're doing this. Dottie, it looks like you have something to say.
Tag on to what you said, because we really want to connect and engage and empower a group of, what we call expert epic entrepreneurs. We're not the only ones in the world, obviously, but we do identify as that. And you know what? It's okay to identify as that. It's okay to aspire to that, because we all have to have dreams. And one of the hardest things in being an entrepreneur is having people dash your dreams. Now, you can either take that on, or you can be like Teflon coated and let it just go off you. But it's a hard point to get to oftentimes, to get that mind shift to where you go, I don't care what they say, I'm not stopping. I don't care what they do. I don't care what happens. I am persevering, and I am sticking with it, and I'm doing whatever it takes, and I am problem solving, Jen. Yes. I'm going to respond versus react. I talk with my clients about managing the minute gap, and it's so tiny you can't even touch it, feel it, really even see it. But that minute gap is the difference between reacting and responding. And so when issues and problems come up, that I think is what Jen's going to be deep diving into how that process works. And I believe it's one of the most important aspects after you get some of these other things handled, the finances, the physical well-being that we're going to cover too. If you're feeling terrible, it's hard to continue down the entrepreneur path. If your relationships are falling apart. So then Jen's going to come in and circular all that up at the end and whip it together and help you be on an amazing track. Now, here's what we know. 30 days is like planting a seed. And one of the things we're going to start doing is we're going to be vaccinated. If anybody down there knows what vaccine is, applaud there for me. Just let me know you know what I'm talking about. But T. Harv Eker is where I learned it, Millionaire Mind Series. And vaccine stands for visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and sensing. And it means you take different statements that we will do. We will send you out things to do daily, okay? And do your vax. Take 5 minutes in the morning and vax. And what that means is, it means visual, auditory, kinesthetic, and sensing. So you might take a statement. I am financially free. Okay? And you speak that. Now, if you have somebody in your family, you can look into their eyes, do that. But if you can't, guess what you do? You go to the mirror and you look into your own eyes and you say, I am financially free. I am financially free. And then auditory, you rub your ears. I am financially free. Now, some of y'all might think this is woo-woo. Well, let me tell you, millionaires were standing in a room, 1,000 with T. Harv Eker rubbing their ears and saying this. It works because it, in a neurological way, it cements what's happening. And those 4 different things there are the different kind of learning styles, So kinesthetic, okay? That means you move. So I would be up moving and I would say, I am financially free. I am financially free. So we're doing this to get your body moving. And then the last is you put your arms over your heart, your chest area. And it's, no matter if you have a faith, no faith, whatever, there's some kind of, we're all one connectedness, okay? And it's, I am financially free. I am financially free. And I don't care if you're standing in front of your mirror in the bathroom saying this to yourself. You're beginning to acknowledge these things. And so, like Stephanie will have vaccine going around finances, like that. Jen will have something else. Cheryl will have something about relationship. Like, Cheryl, what's one vax that you could do around relationship?
Well, I think part of it is a relationship with yourself. And I think the affirmations that we do daily about ourselves, there's a great little book called Hung by the Tongue. And the words that we say, particularly about ourselves, are so powerful. So I think even just looking at what it is, the language we're speaking about ourselves on a daily basis is going to be so important for people. And, I was going to say, Dottie, to your point, that there might be some people out there right now saying, this is crazy stuff, right? Like, I'll feel silly doing this. And I'll just tell you that, do something different, because for a lot of us, it's like, well, you don't like where some things are in your life. Well, do something different. Let's change it up. Let's make some commitments. But I would also say, once you make it, be 100% committed, because when you are half committed to something, you know it, the people around you know it. And even if at the end of the day, those people they might think you're crazy, but you and them and all of them as well will respect you for your commitment. Even if they think you're crazy, it's crazy commitment. And I'd say just get crazy about who you are and who you want to be and get passionate about it and get committed to it 100%. But yeah, so much we can do around just, accepting ourselves first in that relationship, because how do we really reach out to others till we've learned to embrace ourselves?
Absolutely.
Yeah, great point. So, one of the things I think we all can do is if you have a client that is dealing with something, what better thing to do than to bring them on here and let all of us offer them some coaching insights, from 5 generations, just to kind of go back to the 5 generations. I'm the 20s person. No, that's Stephanie. I forgot. Stephanie's 20s generation. Darn it. I should say
in the realm of reality a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not grounded in reality. My mind is in the 20s. I forgot to offer, it's all about distinctions in coaching. But Jen is the 30s, so it's no longer the mystery woman out there. And so Cheryl is in the 50s and Yasmin is in the 40s. But I also want to say that even though all of us are in the United States, this is global, okay? We can work with anybody. Anybody can come to our Get Business Lean, 30-day challenge. And that 30 days is, again, simply, just the foundation starting. Because a lot of people say, you can form a habit in 28 days. Well, research has shown that's not true. It takes about 66 days to form a habit, and that was just eating an apple that they did research on. You can Google it, find it out. We're going to be sharing some of that data with you in the course and so forth in the 30 days. So what we hope is that the 30 days really starts you off, cements the foundation for you to have an epic 2016, and that with that seed planted, you will continue down that path and have a really great year. That's our intention, is to give back to the community that's been so great to us.
Absolutely.
You all know where the 28-day originally came from? The 28-day, why they started saying that the 28 days?
No.
Well, I had researched this at one point because we had the 30-day make a habit, break a habit, sort of the family meeting we used to do. So I did some research on it at one point, and some of it really originally started because the astronauts were in training, and they had to wear goggles that literally turned their world upside down. So they literally slept in them, showered in them, whatever, and they had to learn how to adjust with the world being upside down. Well, after right around the 28-day mark, almost all of them, their mind was able to adapt to that and flip it. So
wow.
The worst still on, they saw the world upside right again. And it was like a rewiring of their brain, basically, that happened. And it took about 28 days. And that's where that all sort of started, where they thought people could change habits. But the problem is that habits come from a belief that's deep, not just up here, it's also here. And so I think that's why it does take sometimes for people to, really have that total buy-in and belief and commitment to something. It's starting to work at 28 days, but it's not. It hasn't really made that progression. So,
well, and I think my personal thought there is, they lived, they breathed, they showered, they slept, they woke up, they went to bed in those goggles. So they logged 24 times 28.
It's a great point.
672 hours.
Absolutely.
So you're going to spend an hour a day working on it. It's going to take you 2 years. So kind of just put it in perspective there.
Yeah, that's a great way of thinking about it too. Exactly.
So Jen, let's hear a little bit more from you, just maybe on a personal level. You're there in South Carolina, right?
Well, actually, right now I'm coming to you from Dunedin, Florida. One thing you will learn about me is that I do travel a bit with my work and with what I do, and I have family all over. So one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur is that you get to design your business to your lifestyle versus having to fit your lifestyle in your business. You actually can design your business to fit the lifestyle that you want to have. And because my family is literally all over the country, I wanted to design a lifestyle where I could travel and work no matter where I am. So I'm visiting my father today in Dunedin, Florida. As you can see, I have the Gulf of Mexico behind me. It's not too shabby. I went from Wisconsin yesterday, which was where they were de-icing the plane, to about 82 degrees here. So talk about extremes, but it's wonderful. But yes, I'm really excited for this. It's so wonderful to meet everybody for the first time. I've heard such amazing things about these women, and I have to say, I feel like there's something very powerful about a group of women coming together to empower each other. I really believe that is where we succeed, is in together and helping each other see our strengths, and then also too to face our fears. You know, I think the biggest thing in this journey of not just business but in life is it's all about facing fear and recognizing where fear limits us. And in actuality, it's usually not true. It's usually a limiting belief that's involved. And so I think that this structure is so beyond awesome because it's a free space for us to build community, to support each other in really living our best lives. And how we do that is by supporting each other in our strengths, but also in facing our fears. So this is going to be a very exciting month. And Stephanie, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said is like, you know, if you start strong, it's so much easier to finish strong. And so I'm so excited to promote this to everybody that I know. And I want to encourage anybody who's listening in, please help spread the word, because this is what it's all about, is supporting everybody and having the best 2016 that they can have.
You know, I also want to add, Jen, that's great, because we are women, obviously, and we're supporting each other and we're supporting the community. But our support of the community is for both men and women. I mean, think about it all the time. You have guys, you know, really coming together and empowering, and they're always training both men and women. And so do we, you know, and yet we do know that we have a particular affinity to help women because we understand the challenges that are coming up. I mean, you know, when you have family, I mean, we have a 14-year-old standard poodle. I mean, we feel like our hands are full. I can't imagine everybody that has kids and schedules to, I don't know, just handle. And so, you know, I really feel that we have some insights, though, that maybe I don't personally have to deal with, but somebody in this group does. And
absolutely.
So in terms of being an entrepreneur, because women are so successful at being entrepreneurial when they take their opportunity, when they seize their opportunity, and they start going down the path. But they probably have more obstacles than just about anybody that goes down that path, you know? So it's a very interesting sort of, I don't know, maybe a paradox of sorts about, you know, what happens in the situation.
Absolutely.
So Stephanie, you know, I know you're going to be talking about finances. Give us one little gold nugget about that and what you're going to bring into the mix.
Well, I recently, so for anyone who doesn't know my background, I'm a sales trainer and a sales and business coach. I help businesses get their sales in order so that they can get their marketing in order, so that they can get their systems in order. Because if you get your sales in order, you now have enough cash flow to do whatever you want. If you get your marketing in order, you now bring in more people into the sales funnel that has a high closing ratio. And now you need better systems to handle the entire amount of clients. So that's what I do. And one of the things I'm going to be talking about with people is that I surround myself with financially smart people. I'm the chick who flunked math twice, had to take remedial algebra in college. So you look at that and go, you're in sales. How does that one work out? I'm smart enough to know that I don't do it on my own, and I keep myself surrounded by other people who are way smarter than me. And one of them posted something, and I really, really appreciated it. And in this article, it was this financial advisor giving advice to his clients for the year. And he said it's easier to increase your income by $500 than to decrease your costs by $500. Mentally, it's easier to increase your income by $500 than to decrease your costs by $500. So one of the things I'm going to be talking with you guys about is how to increase your income by whatever the amount is you need to be increasing your income by to make the numbers you want to make. Let's say you want to go on a vacation. Okay, great. Did you realize if you increase your income by $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year? That's a pretty decent vacation, right? I think, pays for a couple of the bills while you're on vacation, and, go to Cancun, Mexico for under $4,000 for a week. I should know.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the big things I'll be talking about. One of the big focuses is how to approach your finances from a place of plenty, where I can go make more money, as opposed to a place of scarcity. Oh, let me stem the bleeding. Let me do that. That's important. Don't get me wrong, especially for some businesses, that's really important. But it's easier to come at it from a place of how can I make more money, as opposed to how can I save more money.
And Stephanie, do you know that $500 a month could keep the majority of people that are going into bankruptcy out of bankruptcy?
Yeah, I heard that. It was like an 80 some odd percentage that if they just had $500 more per month.
Wow.
Yeah. So
it's huge. I mean, it may, in a big space sound like, wow, that's not all that much, but it is all that much. And for the everyday person that, is trying to go down this path, it can be huge for them. And that's why many people actually try to pick up something and be entrepreneurial, because they are struggling. And bless everybody who has the job that wants one.
We need people like that.
I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for over 35 years, longer than maybe somebody here. A couple of you all have been in the world. But, seriously, once I did that, I just could never look back. And we need people who love jobs, and there's so many people who do. Again, it's not an either or, something's better than the other. It's just finding out what aligns with yourself. And for me, it's being an entrepreneur. So Stephanie, I really appreciate that you're going to really zero in on those finances. And so just, a little bit more about my background too. I coached women's basketball at the University of Kentucky. And when I left there, I became an entrepreneur, and I never looked back. My business became Small Business of the Year for the Lexington Chamber of Commerce. And I'm really excited because in April I'll go and I'll speak on Diversity Day for Leadership Lexington. I was a part of that group 30 years ago. When the lady asked me to speak, I said, Amy, were you even born when I started? She said, yes, I was. I said, oh, so you were like 3 years old, huh? So she was like 3 or something. But anyway, we already had the great rapport. And then as that happened, she invited me to speak to their Emerge group, which is a group of young entrepreneurs. And I love working with the young entrepreneurs. I don't know, the energy, everything. When people are going, oh, the young people, I go, are you kidding me? I love the young people. Oh, they're amazing. I don't know what people are looking at when they're always trying to put down another generation, but I don't get that. And I'm not going to be a part of that. I guess that's why I love bringing everybody together. But then my business went on to be Small Business of the Year in the United States in the ASI industry, which is Advertising Specialty Institute. It was 8 years ago that I came into what I call the online world. And that's because I live in tiny Blaine, Washington, which is 2 hours north of Seattle. I don't know if there's 5,000 people here. There could be, but not that many. I like it that way. I like going 2 minutes to work, and I like going to the beach to walk when I want to during the day. I like going out and sitting by my pond and having lunch and spending time with Riley and tossing the ball and those kind of things. So there are their advantages, and it's not that we don't come up to our problems and our obstacles, but I've just always been committed. Cheryl, when you talk about the passion and commitment, there's just anybody that knows me knows that's what I'm committed to doing. Mm-hmm. So, Cheryl, it'd be great for you to give a little bit more about your background as well, because
I had a coaching client. Real quick, I had a coaching client who had to reschedule on me this morning, so I have to get going because I have to get over to his place in the next 12 minutes. So, it was awesome to meet you, Jen. I cannot wait to get this.
So great to meet you. Same here.
Bye, guys.
Bye. We'll see you Saturday.
See ya. By the way, thank you for the calendar, Dottie.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you got it.
I did. It's right here. So
you ladies needed those so we could have our wisdom, to read.
Right. We have to be smart this year. All right, I gotta go. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye. Thank you. So, Cheryl, give us a little more background so people know about you.
So I was with an association in management. I was executive director for about 20 some years and learned, I learned a lot because it's in association work, you get to wear every hat there is, and whether you want to or not. And it was really great from that standpoint. But I had that entrepreneurial heart that we were talking about. And, much to my dad's disliking, I just, I really needed to follow a lot of things that were just in my heart. And I had started a company with someone called, we did Healthy Body. And this is so funny about what we're talking about and what we're all bringing, because we all are going to bring something to this mix, but it focused in on healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. And it was the whole concept that when one of those is not stable or it's completely off balance from the rest of your life, or, it impacts the others, right? Because if your finances are a mess, guess what goes? Your health. And trust me, it's a stressful thing. And I know that from being firsthand in the middle of those. And if you don't have a good, like mind shift, Dottie, like you're going to be talking about, and having the right mind, shifting around things that are happening around you and being able to adapt to those things and really make the changes you need to move your life forward, that you start to can also wear you down, right? So all those things, and if you're obviously unhealthy, if we don't have our health, that's at the end of the day, right? Most people would say that's the most important thing if we don't have that. So all these things come together, and when those things are in, I say balance because I don't know if we're ever really in balance, but when those things start to work in harmony with each other, that's when I think people can really start to move forward. So I'm excited that what we're bringing as a group are all those pieces, not just from stabilizing though, but literally from blowing it open and really going after the life we all want to live. So that's very exciting. But through the course of that, with the Healthy Body, Mind, and Finances business that I had written a book at that time, which was just an interactive workbook for families to start teaching. And it was 101 creative ways to save money. And it's not that it was a scarcity mentality. It was really about being respectful around and also realizing that we come from a world of abundance. And so this was this workbook that families could come together and employees could come together around and create action steps to, so that it wasn't just an idea, it was an idea that actually had action behind it. And that's really where it started for me. And that grew into me kind of sharing, as part of that, my own family's journey around finances in particular, and how we had to come together as a team and, realize that that we were bigger than our house, and we were bigger than our finances, and we were bigger because we were all individuals and we all had something to contribute in. So as we did that, as you know, Dottie, kind of evolved into me creating a family meeting toolkit, which then went on and got an award for one of the next best brilliant ideas for humanity, and was very honored by that, and have been able to launch, a little bit bigger from that platform, but very excited to now bring it into, because so much of it, and I mentioned this before, that was a part of that, becomes so much a part of what we should just, if you look at the 4 kind of guiding principles around it, it was, to really sometimes put the technology away, and not now because we're in the middle of this, right? but how much technology actually allows us to have face-to-face, but, watching a family go out to dinner and not really communicate with each other because they're all individually distracted by their cell phones and whatever. There's a time and a place and a way to embrace technology. So it's wonderful, but we also need to know that sometimes the person across from us is more important. And then learning to celebrate our differences and to respect the ideas that come from one another, and then also just taking that ownership and not just blaming someone else, but taking ownership of your own life. So those are all things too that we're going to wrap into some of the things that I'll get to talk about. But those rules would be good at the kitchen table, the boardroom table, and they'd be especially good if we could actually take them to Washington and let our leaders use some of them. So anyway, that's like, that's probably next year. We probably won't be able to get that this year, but
that's right. On both sides of the aisle, we need to do that.
Yeah. So just respecting, because it's and it's one thing to not always have to be politically correct. I understand that, but it's another thing to be respectful of the other person. And I think we're losing some of that, and we can't afford to lose that. It starts in our own homes with our own families, and it also starts in our companies and in our schools. So we need to get that back to that basic core heartbeat of who we're supposed to be, and ripples go out, not in. So if we become that change first, then we can ripple that out. And eventually see that be the change that we want to see in the rest of the world.
Love it.
Absolutely. That's great.
So, and Dottie, I want to say kudos to you, because I didn't know Jen before this, and I didn't know Stephanie, and I didn't know Yasmin. And so, this is really, I think they should do a blab where there's like a center circle, and they put you in it, and then we get to be all that, and then we could put 5 on here for one thing. But wouldn't that be cool if the person who's moderating, right, is right in
There you go. Well, what's interesting about Blab is it's still called in beta. I mean, this is kind of taking everything by storm.
Yeah.
And just to kind of tell people, we will be doing each Monday of our 30 days on Blab. Okay, we're just going to totally do Blab. And Motivation Monday, hashtag Motivation Monday is where we're going to be. But those other 4 days will be on the Google Hangout platform. And the reason we will be is because we can screen share there and do some specific training. So we're doing a combination, of what we're doing. But I love what you said, Cheryl, for anybody. And so the point is, Blab is still technically in beta, and they're taking all kinds of suggestions. So,
I was just thinking, even the person we brought on to coach, make them the center of our attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if we could do that, wow,
that'd be very cool. I love it.
So, but
we welcome somebody. Reese, I'm seeing Reese Humphreys. Welcome, Reese.
And
it tells me.
Excited to learn what it is that you're going to be sharing, because I feel like one of my, and trust me, this whole thing that we're doing, and I'm sure all of us feel this way, I can't wait to do it for myself.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that each one of us have so much unique talent to bring, and I'm excited to learn. And sometimes for me, I have great ideas, but sometimes you're so close to them, it's hard to pull them in and make them, come alive and make them real. And I think obviously what Stephanie's offering, what you're offering, Jen, and what we're all bringing is just going to be, and I already know Dottie. I mean, Dottie's like the coach of the century, as I've already learned so much from her, but, really it's Dottie, your vision with this, and that, and, but just the people that you've attracted, and will continue to attract to this is, I think, kudos and thank you for that. So,
well, it's interesting. I met Jen's dad, Vito.
Yep.
In Beverly. And so we had such a great time when we met in Florida that we met again the next day. And by that time, they were saying, "Can't you move to Florida?" I said, "Wow, I think my spouse might get a little upset about that." No. But, I mean, it's going to be so great. It's like you say, Jen, we develop these relationships, and we go into town, and there's nothing better than going into a town and knowing somebody to hang out with. Exactly. It's like going to another country. It's one of the reasons I love, I'll say this, being an entrepreneur. I have built a global business. That was my intention, because one thing is I love other cultures. I think that I learned so much by being on Skype and hangouts with people like George from Greece and Paul from Cyprus and, all these different people. It's just amazing, because we get real information about what's happening in their country. It's unfiltered, it's real from them, their experience. And one thing I have found is you can't argue with somebody's feeling about something. If somebody says, I feel sick, you might say, well, you don't look sick, but you can't argue with their feeling. And when somebody says, I feel scared with my situation going on in Greece now, you can't just gloss that over and say, oh, you don't feel that, feel some other way. I think in the era of positiveness, one thing we've forgotten is that it's very important for us all to feel our feelings, And with my Southern accent, you might not know what I said, so I was trying to pronounce it correctly. But the feeling of the feelings, because when we ignore them and we resist it, and this is one thing we're going to be talking about our first day with Mind Shift, it's about learning how to embrace the chaos, the discomfort. Because when we resist it, we just kind of come back and forth in a well-worn path where we go back down to what we call stable and stuck. And in order to really move forward, we have to learn to embrace discomfort. But how can we embrace it if we don't admit it?
Right.
I mean, we have to own it. And so therefore, then the gold really is in the chaos. But we got to dig through it. So being an entrepreneur, we have to dig through that discomfort and sit with the discomfort. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't mean we don't feel it.
Absolutely.
I tell people there's two questions I usually ask. And when I talk to entrepreneurs, I say, tell me about your biggest failure. Because, everybody thinks you're going to ask them about their success. If they tell me they've never failed, I go, oh, well, you're really not a true entrepreneur. No offense. And the other is with digital online marketing. I say, male or female, if you've never cried over your computer, literally, because you have felt so overwhelmed, you really haven't been in the game. It's
Absolutely.
Like, it's about I'm in the game. No, you're sitting on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
The coach hasn't put you in the game yet, because if you were in the game, you would know what it feels like to shoot the ball with 2 seconds to go and miss, or shoot the ball and hit it. You will know that feeling, and you will want to experience the good one again. But you will know that you can't experience the good one until you've gone through missing. I mean, it's just like a lot of people say, well, I want to just leapfrog over chaos. I go, well, that's a real fine idea. It's just not possible.
Yeah, no.
So you can tell we're going to have a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Jen, a little more from you before we leave to,
Sure.
We're going to kind of wind it up here.
Yep, perfect.
We're right on the hour. But what do you see is that the biggest problem that you're talking about, how do you be solution-centric rather than problem-centric?
Absolutely. So, what I love is that I love that this whole program is going to start with doing the mind shift, because the whole thing that I've noticed is that you can tell where somebody's coming from by listening to the words that they're saying, right? So if we start listening to our own words, what is it that we're talking about? Because you can easily tell, am I in the problem or am I in the solution? And one of my favorite things that people talk about with the law of attraction is in regards to Mother Teresa. She would say, I'm never going to an anti-war rally, but if you have a peace rally, that's where I will show up. Because wherever you're putting your focus, that's where we say your energy is going. And that's what's going to multiply for you. So I would say that the best way to be able to tell the difference is by just listening to the words that are coming out when you're talking about it. So I'm somebody where I will completely admit I talk to myself. And sometimes I need to do it out loud because it just helps me process what it is that I'm trying to figure out. But what it would do is listen to what am I saying. So in regards to finances, am I saying, oh my gosh, I don't have enough money to pay rent. I don't, and I can see myself to be like, oh my gosh, I'm saying I don't have enough. that means that I'm being problem focused at that point. My energy and my anxiety, it's building my anxiety and my worry because I'm putting my energy towards the problem. Versus I can then say, okay, I'm saying this. How do I replace it with a solution thought, which is, okay, I have, 15 days left in order to make this amount of money. How do I make this amount of money? Because as Stephanie so eloquently said, it's much easier mentally to say, I just need to make $500 more than to be like, oh my gosh, I need to cut back on my expenses. So it's like right there, you can always feel the difference. So I would say the feeling that we want to focus on when it comes to problem versus solution focused is you can always tell if you feel anxiety or worry, you are in the problem. If you feel peace and harmony, you're in the solution.
I love that. That is an excellent way to end this lab.
Awesome.
And I am so excited that you were here because we had all been getting together for some months.
Absolutely.
And we were very particular and intentional about inviting this 30s person into our space. And this goes back to how we approach being an entrepreneur too, is we go with the end result in mind. The how doesn't matter. It really didn't matter how we ended up with you, Jen. We're just glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm so grateful and so honored to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, so it really ended up perfectly. So that's a big coup for us, with the 5 generations again of E3, that is expert epic entrepreneurs. We say that proudly, not boastfully, but proudly, with dignity, and we invite you to start saying the same. Because as you make that claim to be an expert epic entrepreneur, you allow for the space to open up for you to step into. And that's going to be an exciting epic 2016. And so, ladies, thank you for being on here. And I'm going to see you all again on Saturday, and it'll be a new year. How about that?
Awesome.
And, it's just great. So again, at 11 o'clock on Saturday, which is for our blabs right now, January 2nd. Again, if you want to join us, there's no charge. You can go over to the link I gave, which is Epicpreneurs, epicpreneurs.com. And that's going to enable you to first go and discover your epic code. We think you're all epic, but, let's find out what your epic code is and how that relates to you, because we will be covering that as well. And then you'll get a thank you box after you get what we call Epic Tap. That is a $25 value of total assessment personality profile. You're going to get a profile on yourself. A thank you box will pop up. And if you click on the link in there, it's going to take you over to where we are going to be doing our 30-day Get Your Biz Lean. So it's going to be a lot of fun, ladies, and I wish you all a very happy new year. I've got my dance shoes ready. Yeah.
Love it. Yes. Happy New Year to you all.
Okay, I'm going to start the recording now. And